Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Type 68. This is the Tier 9 Japanese Tech Tree Heavy Tank that was buffed in Update 9.7. It was also nerfed because the mobility module on, obviously, all the Japanese heavies were taken a bit away. However, the buff on this tank was actually quite solid, and it was the buff to the turret armor. It got an extra 20 millimeters on the front of the turret, which is actually a much needed buff, as I can tell you for a fact the Type 68 struggled when dealing with even average penetration opponents that could usually most of the time just penetrate it with a standard shell through the turret cheek. It's kind of weird, but that's just one of the big downsides the Type 68 had. That is not nearly as big of a downside anymore, as it did get a buff on that armor, which is going to allow it to play a lot more aggressive and hopefully get away with it. Now, the thing that I like about the Type a lot is the really solid gun. It features actually one of the better guns, I would be willing to say, at Tier 9, due to the really good DPM it has. But that's a pretty good example right there of the turret cheeks still being weak. I wasn't exactly sure how strong they'd be, but it seems like they still definitely have a lot of weak spots just from that little bit of a testing there. But nice shot into the E75. Thank you for another 300 hit points. You can see the gun on this vehicle is great. I mean, I definitely think that the Type 68 gun is one of the better guns in Tier 9. Unfortunately, it looks like somehow a VK45 is causing a lot of flack on the back part of our... What? That's not a VK45, that's an AMX-50B. The heck is going on here? Okay, well, I'm confused, but bonk, there you go. No more 50B to deal with, but now our Type 71 is being rushed, which is another big bad no-no. I'm gonna get to the side of this 263 and get a pretty easy shell in. I don't want to get shot, obviously, by all of these guys, but it looks like I don't really have a choice. There you go, nice. Okay, I was able to bait the 263 out in the open and get him shot by the TVP. Let's get a nice shell into the IS-7 and back on up. What a painful situation. It looks like we are alive and we're still chilling. Let's go for another shell into the rear of the IS-7. There you go. Nice tracking shot. Not too bad so far at all. We've dealt 2,600 damage. And yeah, we're actually not doing too bad. Now, the 121B is still healthy, and apparently we had a full health IS-7 that I was unaware of. But I guess we'll see if he wants to do anything. What I think this IS-7's actually doing, though, is possibly getting me killed by sending the, okay, there we go, thankfully. Alright, go 183, go! I believe in you. Alright, these guys are going to go over there. Hopefully they do something against that player. We got the Yag off to the side, who I obviously want to go for, so I'm going to aim in and bonk. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Nice slap right into that Yag, finishing him off. Okay, but we also got the T95 over here and the E75 left. So, what I'm going to do as of now is I'm going to make my way towards this E75, possibly get the clear on him. Bonk. Yes, look at that. And he had to shoot a premium shell to penetrate us, which meant that I didn't die. Now, impressively, a full health 183 and IS-7 were not able to kill a single half-health IS-7. That is actually really dang impressive, if I'm going to be completely honest, but, welcome the teams. There you go. Nice shot into you. And now I'm going to back on up, although I don't think it'll matter too much, as I'm pretty sure I'm a goner either way. Alright, well, let's load in a heat shell. Let's get a nice pen into you. And we actually did get a pretty nice bounce. Alright. Well, not too bad. Let's just reload again. Let's load in another heat shell into the... Ah, that was an awful shell for me, I'll be honest. Sometimes I have an oopsie on my shot. That was definitely one of those shots. It wouldn't have mattered as the T95 just penned with HE, but I don't know why. My brain just went like, and shot the mantlet instead of the armor next to that T95. Overall, we did pretty good, to be honest. I cannot blame the Type 68 in any way, shape, or form to why we lost that battle. We didn't block all that much, but we did 4,000 damage in a Tier 9 vehicle, where my 183 and IS-7 somehow didn't kill, again, that single IS-7. That 121B was able to farm 6,000 damage. But let's see if we can do another battle, maybe not as atrocious as that first team. Maybe we'll fight Tier 8s. You never really fight Tier 8s in a Tier 9. It's sometimes, but usually not. But here we are, and it's Tier 10s, yeah. And not only Tier 10s, but I'm one of only 2 Tier 9s, which really just is a bit of a shame. One of the things I love about Tier 9 is that it can make a great impact at a Tier 10 level. Like, for example, this gun has 374 millimeters of heat pen. This gun has more DPM than the average Tier 10 heavy, and I've got pretty solid armor as well for a Tier 9 and mobility. However, the problem is that I don't have as many hit points, and more specifically, I also do not really carry the same kind of influence a vehicle like the 57 Heavy does, or, you know, a Tier 10 version of whatever the Tier 9 you're driving is. So, that's one of the only downsides that Tier 9 has, is that a lot of the time you're not nearly as powerful as the Tier 10, which makes sense, but it's also a bit of a shame when you're trying to fight 5 Tier 10s on the enemy team. It's definitely back and forth there. Alright, well, we got the 2 and 5B. We got a nice bounce from him. Not really sure what I want to do here as of now. That 2 and 5B is in an okay spot. And our 57 Heavy already killed himself. Wow. Impressive. I always find it very impressive when people with a full health Heavy manage to be less than a quarter of their health in the first, 40 seconds of the game? But there you go. Nice shell into the T100 LT. If he does shoot at me, doesn't really matter. The whole point of my tank is to be shot. I am a Heavy after all, so that's fine. Let's make our way over here. We got the 183 in the back, who I'm hoping isn't going to look at me. It doesn't look like he is, so let's get a slap into him. There you go. Put on my adrenaline so we can get some damage in. Reloading. Oh, we got a bounce from the grill. I did not think the grill was going to shoot at me, but oh well. Alright, well, in this situation, we have a lot going on. I'm going to aim it on the IS-8 and not pen him, unfortunate, and then he pens me, and I just don't want to be hit by that grill right now. Alright, well, let's push on up, and bonk, oh, there you go, much better shot into the IS-8. Now, one thing I did want to test on this vehicle, because I think it got heavier, was its ramming, and, not that impressive. We lost only 10 less than the IS-8, so yeah, I can't say ramming is all too spectacular on this vehicle, but not bad at all. Let's reload. Maybe we can get a shell into the grill. No, oh, unless he, I was gonna say if he keeps going we can get a shell in, but he did not keep going. Alright, well, 92E1 gets a big ol' slapping. We got the 57 Heavy over here, and there you go, nice shot. 30B, I don't know if you know this, but you cannot drive through those tankers. Grill? How'd you manage to bounce my rear? Okay, you know what? That was a better ram. 204 in the 57 Heavy from that little tap. Okay, that was actually not bad at all. Alright, well, maybe this tank is decent at ramming. I don't know. I think they did make it 10 tons heavier, so yeah. Either way, this is the Type 68. It's a fun vehicle, it's got a really solid gun. In fact, I'd be willing to say this gun on the Tier 9 is better than the gun on the Tier 10. You can take a look at its damage per minute, you can take a look at its penetration. It has 2,400 DPM and 374 millimeters of heat pen. And if you look at a vehicle like the Type 71, which is obviously the Tier 10 version of this vehicle, and we take a look at the gun, it's 2,410 DPM with 363 mils of pen. So honestly, I'd probably rather have this gun on the Type 71. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think about the Type 68 in the comments down below. I think it's a really fun vehicle, and I definitely think it's one of the nicest looking Tier 9s in the game, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.